Hey everybody, my name is Odell Horn and I'm the president of the North Georgia Conference United Methodist Men, and I want to welcome you to this weekly video update for Friday, August the 6th, 2021. This video is going to deal with the special session of the General Conference, and I have a special message for progressive Christians in the North Georgia Conference. But I want to tell you about three things that is happening in the life of the United Methodist Men. Number one, we on every Saturday of the month at 11 a.m. are going to release a 15 to 20-minute video with radical mentoring. This is an intentional discipleship process in which an older man takes a group of younger men through 9-month or 12-month book study, Bible study, scripture memorization, prayer, discipleship process. And some churches in the North Georgia Conference have adopted this model, and so you'll get to hear from them, their highs and their lows. Second, we're going to do a book study. It's called The Color Compromise: The Truth About the American Church's Complicity in Racism. And this book will basically tell you how the Black church was formed. That will begin on Thursday, August the 12th at 7 p.m. We'll only go for 1 hour, and then I believe there's 12 chapters in the book. So anyway, we're slated to go through the end of October for The Color Compromise, and I'll put that information in the comments below. Third, the General Commission on the United Methodist Men will be hosting their 2021 National Gathering virtually, and I'll put that'll be on Saturday, August the 28th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'll put that information also in the comments. For those who did not know, I was elected in 2019 to be a delegate to the 2020 General Conference representing the laity, and I want to thank all the United Methodist Men who voted for me to represent them at the General Conference 2020. Well, because of the coronavirus, that was pushed back to August of 2021, and then because of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, it has been pushed back to August of 2022. But I want to go back to the special call session, the General Conference in 2019 in St. Louis, Missouri. And we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting in this video over that. I'm going to try and be as kind and as nice and as honest as I possibly can, but I'm going to be truthful. All right, so buckle your seatbelts. The vote at the special call session of the General Conference was basically a vote of East versus West. And the Western response to the Eastern Christians was less than Christian. Somehow, American delegates, American progressives in particular, believe that they're right and that they know more, and that the African delegates were influenced by the Wesleyan Covenant Association, and so therefore they have a colonized mentality when it comes to human sexuality. As someone with a degree in African and African American studies, I have some problems with the progressive interpretation of Eastern people, and particularly African people. So we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting, because I'm going to be as honest as I possibly can, progressives. You have not studied Black psychology. So because you have not studied African or Black psychology, you wouldn't actually know the difference between what is indigenous to the culture and what is a colonized mentality that you probably have read Black Skin, White Mask by Frantz Fanon, because Fanon talks about the colonized mentality. However, had you read African psychology, you would have realized that Fanon doesn't capture everything. Because these colonized people were able to overthrow the British and the French and the Belgians, the Germans, the Italians, the Portuguese, the Spanish, so on and so forth, and claim their independence. And these people continued in their traditional ways. There's no such thing as a progressive African society. There's only traditional African societies. So the question before the General Conference 2022 is, does the United Methodist Church want to continue to be a multinational denomination or a global denomination? Because if the United Methodist Church decides it wants to be a global denomination, then the Americans have to do one of two things. Start evangelizing and winning people to Jesus Christ so that more people will join your churches and will begin planting churches instead of closing them. Or two, Americans will have to come under the leadership of Africans. That's the way this is going to go at the special session. At the General Conference in 2022. Now, I know there's things out there like the protocol, but that has not been passed. It will be introduced, it will be lobbied for, and there's a cross section of people who actually are going to promote it. But I'm prepared whether the protocol passes or the protocol does not pass. I'm sending a very clear message to progressive Christians. If you have not read the theologians that John Wesley read, the Egyptians and the Syrians, then your theology is only Eurocentric. And if you see the Africans and the Asians only through a Eurocentric lens, and you only want the African and Asian delegates to vote, then you actually are not giving them agency, and you actually are exporting what is known as theological colonialism. You need to believe like me in order to be a good Christian. And we're going to do battle over that. And if it's just me against the progressive, then Athanasius contra mundum. Because one of the things that I will not do is allow folks to dictate who Africans are and what Africans believe who've never lived there nor have never studied the culture. And we're going to have a come to Jesus meeting over human sexuality, over theology, over biblical interpretation from the Western perspective. I would encourage progressive Christians to read the theologians that John Wesley read, the Egyptians and the Syrians, so that we can have a global theology. If you're only reading American and German theologians, you actually have a colonized theology. My name is Odell Horn, and I look forward to speaking to you next time.